the prospects of Trump win are increasingly being felt, as per the several opinion polls, the greater discussion in the world today is what would be the United States foreign policy. Trump has been vocal about his foreign policy positions. Not only Trump, J.D. Vance, his vice presidential nominee, concurs with Trump on several foreign policy questions. For instance, Trump has been very critical about U.S. funding of European security and U.S. finances for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which American leads, a Cold War entity comprising of the Western nations. Well, Trump has already made it clear, sir, we will not pay for NATO. Let the European countries pay for their own security. If they don't pay, as Trump said, I have told one of the European leaders that if you don't pay us for the security which we are providing through NATO, I will in fact provoke Russia against you. This kind of an outrageous, outlandish statement was issued by a person no less than Donald Trump, who served as the President of the United States of America and who aspires to be the President of the world's most powerful nation. Well, he can have a foreign policy position, but he says he has threatened, he has scared an European leader that he would provoke Russia on that country in case if it doesn't really fund NATO. Even J.D. Vance told a Fox channel in June that the United States has been subsidizing the European security for long. Therefore, the time has come for the European nations to pay for the security. So, in fact, J.D. Vance said, well, NATO has become a welfare client of the United States. That is the kind of language which he has used. But Americans continue to pay for NATO, continue to pay for security of Taiwan and several other nations across the world, not out of charity. Everybody knows it is a part of perpetuating the U.S. hegemony over the world, which has significant economic gains, whether they are tangible or intangible. Well, on the question of Taiwan also, the United States presidential nominee Donald Trump said in a very recent interview to the Bloomberg Business Week. So the question was, well, China wants to reclaim Taiwan. Everybody knows Taiwan is technically still part of China. Well, though existing independently, operating independently, it's technically still part of China. China claims its sovereignty over Taiwan. United States has not diplomatically recognized Taiwan, but still is the biggest supplier of weapons to Taiwan. These are the times when China is increasingly threatening Taiwan's self-rule. So the question put forth to Trump was, what is his stand on this? So if China wants to annex Taiwan, then Donald Trump said, well, Taiwan doesn't pay anything, so it has to pay for providing security. And Trump interestingly compared, well, we are also like an insurance company. So he said, if you pay the insurance premium, in the wake of any tragedy, the company will pay back. So similarly, Trump is now telling, you pay insurance for the war and security, and when time comes, we'll come back and repay or provide the security. So the leader of the world's most powerful nation is simply talking in the language of business. Well, Trump is known for his business, but business has crept into his policies also. Similarly, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are against aid to Ukraine also. In fact, the Republicans and the Trump loyalists oppose the Biden administration's $61 billion aid package to Ukraine. In fact, the Republicans, including the Trump and J.D. Vance, have been arguing that it is too long. We have been supporting Ukraine. Why should we fight a war in that far-flung area? So this is the stand of the United States. In case if the Trump wins, U.S. support for Ukraine will drastically come down. So this may result in a greater Russian aggression towards Ukraine, and Ukraine may not find it so easy to resist Russian aggression. Well, if Trump wins, there can be a possible pressure on Europe to pay for its own security. In fact, just before the Ukraine war, France and Germany were toying with the idea of having their own security also. It was the Ukraine war that further cemented the ties between United States and its NATO members. So therefore, if the Trump wins, there is every possibility that the European nations may be asked to support their own security. So US policy on China will also be in question, but Trump doesn't mind even asking friends or foes to pay for the security. So his stand is very clear: Americans first, and America is first for them. Because like any other far-right ultranationalist, Trump relies on the white American sentiment. So therefore, that kind of his domestic politics are creeping into his foreign policy also. There is every likelihood that we may see an earthquake in the US foreign policy if Trump returns to the White House.